Hello and welcome. Today we shall be looking at AWS Identity and Access Management. AWS Iam is a security service that we can use to create and manage groups and users. In this demo, we're going to create three groups and assign them different policies or permissions. And then we'll create three users and attach them to each of the groups. To get started, let's go to Iam. Okay, so here we are on the dashboard. So we'll start with, you can see the dashboard here, user groups, users, roles, policies, and so on. So we're going to be creating a group. So let's go to user group. As you can see, we have no user group currently. So I'll go to create group. Now, user group name. Let's give a name to our group. The first group, we're going to call it, let's call it EC2 admin group. This is our EC2 admin. Then down, we can add a user to the group, but since we don't have a user already, we'll move down and then add a policy to the group. Now the policy will determine what permission members of this group are going to have. And for the user admin, we're going to, for the EC2 admin group, we're going to permit the users to read, to read, start, and stop the EC2 instance. So I already have a policy for that. I will search for it, EC2 admin, EC2, sorry, EC2 admin policy. Okay, there it is. So I'll select it and then create group. Sorry, I left a space here. EC2 admin group. Okay, so we've created our first group. Let's create a second one. Now this second group, we'll call it EC2 support. EC2 support. Now the users in this group will only be able to read from the EC2. So let's get a policy for that. EC2, sorry, EC2 read only access. So there it is. EC2 read only access. So it will provide only access to the Amazon EC2. I'll go down and create the group. Good. Our second group is created. Now let's go on to the next. I'll go down and create group. Now the third group is going to be stress support group. This group will also have only read access, only read only access to the extra buckets. So I go down, extra read, sorry, extra read only access. Okay, there it is. Extra read only access. I select and then create. Okay, so as you can see, we've created our three groups and currently there are no users in any of them. So we'll go ahead to create our users. Okay. So you can see we have no user here. So I'll go to create user. Now for the first user, let's call it user one. And then we're asked to provide user access to the AWS Managed Console. Okay, let's go through this route. I'll check it. Now, under user type, we're asked to specify a user in identity center. Now, in um, in a real life environment, this is actually the recommended path to it, but this is just a demo. So, for to make it as swift as brief as possible, we'll go through this route. I want to create an I am user. So I'll go here. Now, console password. We're asked to whether to auto-generate a password. No, we want to create a custom password. So I'll say create custom password. And then I'll enter passwords. Let me check the show password. So enter password. Let's say password one. Okay. Okay, so this is our custom password. Show password. Okay. So user must create a new password at next sign in. This is also a demo, so we don't want to do that since I'm performing all the action here. So I will uncheck it and go to the next. Add user to group. Now this user one, we're going to add it to the S3 support group. That is the group that has read-only access to the S3 bucket. So I'll select S3 group, S3 support group, and then next. Okay. So you can see our details. User username user one, console password, custom password there, and then You can see the permission summary here, the group it is added to. So let's create user. Okay, so we successfully created our user. Show password. Let's look at the password. You need to, under normal circumstances, you should be very much aware of the password you're using. So remember the password. Okay. Let's return to the users list. Okay. So you can see we have one user now in one group. Now let's create our second user. We're going to name the second user 2. Okay. We follow pretty the same pattern. Provides user access. I want to create an Aws Iam user. We want custom passwords. So for this user, we're going to make use of, for the password, we're going to make use of, let's say, password 2. Let's show password. Okay, need to have that in mind. And then we'll uncheck this. Okay, let's go to the next. Okay, so let's add user to a group. This time we're going to add the user to the EC2 support group. That means it's going to have read-only access to the EC2 instance. So I'll select EC2 support group. Then next. Okay, create user. Our user is created. Okay, so let's look at the passwords. Correct. And then return to users list. Okay. Now let's create the third user. We'll give him user 3. Provide access to the AWS management console. I want to create an Aws Iam user. Custom password. We want a custom password. So we're going to give him password 3. Let's show the password to be sure. The password 3, okay. And then when uncheck users must create a new password at next signing. Okay. Go to next. Add user to group. Now we're going to add this third user to EC2 admin group, meaning that whoever is in the group will be able to stop and start the EC2 instance, not just being able to read it. So I select EC2 admin group, then next. Okay, create user. Let's take a final look at the password. The password three, okay. So let's return to users list. Okay, fine. So we've succeeded in creating our three groups and three users. Now we're going to test the permissions we've assigned to this user, starting with user one. So let's go to the dashboard and copy the the URL. So I'll copy this. We're going to be opening it in an incognito window. Okay, so let's open an incognito window. So let's paste our URL. Okay, so what's the name of our first user? The first user is user one. Let's start with user one. And remember the password, password one. We can show it to be sure. That's correct. So let's sign in. Success. So you can see our user one here. You can see it there. Okay. So let's start with we created these users, or we are making use of we were operating from the North Virginia region. So it's necessary we change back to there. Okay. So the user one is supposed to have access to the S3 bucket. So let's open up and see if it does have the access. Okay. So as you can see, user one has the access to the bucket. Let's try opening it. Good. Okay. So user one has read only access. Okay, let's try to see if let's see if we can delete this job. Let's try if we can delete the objects. Of course, it doesn't have the access to do that, but let's try. Okay, so it's asking us to permanently delete. Let's try. Fail to delete. Of course, the user has read only access to the bucket. It does not have any permission to carry out any other activity there. So that's why it could not delete that. This confirms that the policy we fixed there is actually working. Okay, let's see if it can access the EC2. Okay, so let's try to access our instances. Okay, so Let's try to access the instances. Of course, you could not. You are not authorized to perform this operation. Okay, so we can see that the policy will attach to the S3 support group is actually working. So we can now log out this user. Let's sign out. Okay, so we're going to sign in the second user. Okay. The next user is user 2. I will enter the password. Let me show it to confirm. Okay. So I sign in. So you can see our user 2 here as well. You can see the user 2. Remember that the user 2 has read-only access to EC2. So let's try the policy. I'll go to EC2. Let's check our instances. Okay. So you can see we have access to the instance, but this is how far we can go. Let's try and see if we can stop the instance. Okay, the instance is already stopped. Let's see if we can start it. Let's try to start the instance. Failed to start because we do not have access. We do not have permission to do that. Okay, so you can see that our policy is working. Okay, so our policy is working. We do not have the permission to start or stop the instance, but we have read-only access to it. Okay, we can try and see if we can access the S3 buckets. Let's try and see if we can access the S3 buckets. So let's go to the buckets. You see, access denied, so we can't also access the S3 buckets. Okay, so the policy we set for the EC2 support group is also working. We'll log out now. We'll sign out and then test the third user. Let's test the third user. Okay. So our third user is user 3. Sorry, user 3. Let's enter the password. Password 12. We'll confirm that. Okay. So let's sign in. Okay. Now remember that the user 3 has the policy for the EC2 admin group, which means that it can read the EC2 instance and will also be able to stop and start the instance. So let's test it. We go to EC2. Let's go to our instances. Okay, so we're able to access the instance. Now let's try to start it. It's already stopped, so we'll try to start it. Let's start the instance. Okay, so we've successfully started the instance. Great. Okay, so just like the policy says, the EC2 admin user group permits the user to not only access the instance but to be able to start and stop it. Okay, but then let's see if this user can also access the S3 bucket. Let's go to the S3 and see if it can access it. Let's go to our general buckets. Access denied, you see. So even this user in the EC2 admin group has no access to the EC2 to the S3 bucket. But what if we actually want this user to also have access to the bucket? How do we do that? All we have to do is to also add it to also add the user to the S3 support group. So let's go over and do that. Okay, so this is our users. Okay, so this is our users. Remember, we are talking of the user tray. The user tray is already in one group, that is the EC2 admin group. But we want to add him to the S3 support group. So I will click on it, user tray. Okay, rather than add, let's go through the group. Let's go through the group. Okay, we want to add user tray to this S3 support group. So click S3 support. Okay, so you see currently it has just one user here. So let's add another user. So we'll go to add users. We're going to be adding user thread to that group. We'll highlight it and then add users. Good. So we've added user thread to the S3 support group. So what it means now is that the user thread will be in two groups. Let's go back to users. Okay, so you can see that user 3 is now in two groups. So it has the permission for the EC2 support, EC2 admin group, as well as that of the S3 support, uh, the S3 support group. So let's go back to our previous page and see if it can now access the bucket. So all we do is just to refresh. Success. So you can see that our user 3 can now access the S3 bucket. Okay, so we can log him out as well. Let's sign him out. Okay, we can go back to our. Okay, so I think this will be it for now. We've successfully created three groups, assigning policies to them, created three users and assigned them to the different groups, and then tested to see if the policies or permissions actually worked. Okay, that will be that for now. Thank you and see you again.